Hello, and welcome to Matching Mom Genes, where identical twins explore divergent paths of motherhood, born from the same roots. Join us as we navigate this crazy world of parenting, proving that even with identical DNA, our journeys are still unique. Get ready for laughs, insights, and a double dose of maternal mayhem.
Hello.
Hello. I'm excited
feel
for
like
today because I feel like
I'm
we're back at doing like a true
like a
motherhood
real
versus
topic.
motherhood. Well, not even that. It's just like we have some apples to compare to some other apples.
I know. Isn't that
Comparison isn't
nice?
the right word, but we have like look at them apples. I don't know.
Oh, look at them apples.
So
No,
I'm
yeah. I'm
excited.
excited because I've been waiting, I feel like I've been waiting very impatiently for you to go through this process so that then I could discuss it with someone, if that makes sense.
Right,
Because a
because
lot of my new mom friends have not been through, and we're talking about potty training, potty learning
you
today.
stole my thunder.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Do you want to do it? You want to say it out
I would
loud?
like to introduce today's topic by saying that I am the proud mother of a little girl who no longer wears diapers.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Woohoo!
I know. You
Not
can
only are
send
you the
all congratulatory monies to the fund to buy character underwears
exactly
as we
to
wait
buy.
for having them shipped across the pond.
Oh man,
Because
if anybody can find Bluey underwear in a size 2T, please God, just send it directly to my house.
I
They
know where
only
you can
have it
get
in
it.
4T. We can
I
only
can
find it in
send it.
4T.
I found some, so I'll send it. I'll have
Yeah,
to
it's
import it
insane.
into the EU and then I'll have to export it into to
Back
America.
out. It'll be the
But
traveling, what is it? The sisterhood of the traveling pants. It'll be the cousinhood of the traveling underwear.
oh boy, no thank you.
So no, so I've been waiting anxiously because I do have a lot of moms of toddler friends who are either in this process or just went through it or haven't even started, but then, we have an older child. And so like there are so many instances where I'm like anecdotally, when my husband and I talked about having another child, his only con on the pro con, we're big pro con list peoples. The only con was a couple years of diapers. He was like, I desperately want another kiddo. However, I'm
Really?
like, there was, I mean, and for whatever reason,
See,
that was a big
I
like
would do
joke in our house.
multiple years of diapers, but I would never potty train again.
Well, and I think that's where we lined up. Was he was like, I don't like doing diapers, and I was like, and I hate getting them out of diapers.
It's
So it's like we'll just adopt an older child later on in life. If we want someone else to complete our family, we'll just pursue a 5-year-old.
I'm not like this is going to be I'm sure this is going to be a pretty funny episode because you can't talk about pee and poop without it being funny. But I
Accurate.
just want to get serious for just one second. With the exception of the things that are like completely out of like in the realm of normal motherhood. We're not talking about my postpartum depression. We're not talking about the formula shortage when my daughter was 4 months old. We're not talking about like,
Moving to Europe.
serious concerns about European diseases when she got rubella. Like, we're not talking about these kinds of outside things. The hardest part of my motherhood journey, the most triggering part of my motherhood journey has been potty training. The times that I have just like been so overstimulated and done and just had to sit in a dark room and cry for a few minutes. Potty training.
Well, and I think it's so interesting because I have felt a little. Okay, now obviously, my youngest is 7 months older than yours, so obviously I was going first regardless. But I think it's been really fun to kind of watch. So we started potty training at like 2 months past two. So what is that, like 26 months or something like that?
Right.
And so it was last July, like last June and July. That's where we were. Um, and it was right before you were moving to Europe. And you got to witness the tiny potty
I was
once,
going to
one
say, I
time.
do remember that at the last
What
visit that
was
we hung
and
out.
I don't remember. It was, you said Tinkle Tinkle Little Star. I think that was the song you were singing with him. It was like his first potty song. Tinkle Tinkle Little Star.
I don't remember that, but that's funny.
But yeah, no. So like this has been a year of my life, and pretty proud. We've been there for several months, but I think it's interesting because potty training is a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh,
And
and
like
it is the biggest lie
it is a
in
big lie.
in capitalism. The biggest lie is that you're just going to be able to do this and rip off the Band-Aid.
Nope. No, because
And
if you
I
think
say
about
that
it,
as somebody who, trust me, anyone who's listened to this podcast more than one episode knows I over researched this. I was over prepared. I did everything based on the statistics. It took us 6 months. It took
which
us 6
I
months to
don't
be
think
ready.
you understand how quick that actually is. Like I don't think you understand. And
I
that's
wouldn't
something that
have
I
any
want to
good
make
thing to base it
sure.
on because everybody just wants to talk about 3 days and maybe a couple weeks.
Well, and I think that when we talk about potty learning from a like zoomed in concept, there's all these different timelines and all these different time frames. But if you zoom out to the concept, the average child is potty trained sometime between 2 and 7 years old. That's a pretty
Makes me feel better.
large
2
target
and
there.
a half.
Exactly. And so it's like there are parents who this is not even a laughing thing. Like this is a triggering thing. I mean, I'm sure that pediatricians could probably give you statistics on like how many parents are like, "Excuse me, this is going on right now." Or, like it's so common to have like your child potty trained at home but not at school
Oh,
or
that
like
was us
daycare
for months.
or like potty trained during the
That might
day but
still
not
be
at
us.
night. There's even, issues when you transition from um like jeans and shorts. Like if you're potty trained in the summer, but then all of a sudden you're wearing winter clothing, that's really hard to do.
Don't tell
Like
me that.
you're
Don't tell me.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
But
so
like I
mad at
do
you right
think
now.
just sweatpants. Sweatpants is where it's at, man. Sweatpants and leggings. That's all you need.
I
Just don't
think
do the
that's part of
buttons.
it. Like I think part of it is her, we'll talk about the process and stuff, but part of it is her learning her body's cues. Part of
Yes.
it is her willingness to do it, which honestly is
Yeah.
it's on a sliding scale daily at this point. And
Exactly.
and the other part is just I'm getting better at getting pee out of clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. You do learn a
You know,
lot about stain treatment. You really learn a lot about stain treatment. It's a
I'm
very good
already
crash
a
course.
champ at treatment, but still, oh my goodness.
Well, and so like you divided it up really well because for me there's always going to be three components of like potty learning, potty training. The first one is going to be the actual like physical ability to have bladder control. Like that's the first component of potty training. But the second one is like the personality and like emotional readiness of like
Right.
can you stop playing long enough to go pee? Like there's a, that's a big one and it changes
Again,
every day.
a sliding
And then
scale
the
on a daily thing.
exactly. And then the third component is like are you as a parent equipped to fundamentally change something that happens every few hours throughout your day? Like,
Yeah.
because how many of us, I mean, I think back to like high school where
So
like you
much
weren't
easier.
allowed to have like bathroom breaks. Like and you'd go like all day without peeing. Like that's not, toddlers don't do that. No, you'll become overly aware of how small someone's bladder is. Like,
You
and
become overly aware about how inconvenient it is to not have free bathrooms in
well,
Germany.
oh, and this is something I was curious about because so like I don't like public restrooms, but obviously like we have them in America. You don't even have those. Like you have to
No,
pay. So like if my kid sees a new shiny bathroom door and is like, I've got to pee all of a sudden because I need to check out this bathroom door, because why do people make them interesting looking? I don't know. But even
they're
if he
not
goes
here.
in, even if he goes in and doesn't pee, all that we've wasted is a little bit of time. You like have to pay. I feel like that would add an extra level of frustration for me of like, dude, just you have to do something in the toilet now. We paid for this.
I feel like I personally always have to go to the bathroom, so it's not like it's wasted.
Oh, that's good. It just gives you a bathroom. I will say it was fascinating for me to realize how like hydrated I needed to be, because that's something they talk about in any potty learning course, which you and I did follow kind of a course,
Overhydrate them. Oh,
but it's
yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
followed it
hydrate
exactly
them.
in
Hydrate them
January.
because if you want to practice. Like you need to practice. In order to practice, they need to feel the urge to pee. So it's like throw all liquids at them all the time. And we did the Big Little Feelings course, which is like their potty learning or toilet learning or whatever it's called. And it was interesting because you did it because you like a good manual for things.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and my husband and I did it because we wanted to have an agreed upon process. Like we wanted to be saying the same things. We wanted that consistency because what we knew happened with our older boy is that he has two households. And so there was inconsistency there, and both of us were like, "You know what? We have 100% control of this situation. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be the exact same words, it's going to be the exact same situation." And the only thing I disagreed with with the course, which I think I'll just link it in the show notes. But the thing that I disagreed with was I did not want those tiny toilets. Like I wanted,
I know, you were
and
so against it, and you told me
I
not to,
was,
and I was just like, "I'm getting one because they recommended
well, I
it."
was so adamantly against the tiny toilets. And my son, about 3 days in, like, because we did like 3 days, that is the standard. I feel like when people recommend how to potty
Everybody,
train.
the Oh Crap potty training book, the Big Little Feelings course, any popular potty training thing tells you that the 3 naked days. The 3 naked days.
Yeah. Well, and I try to think of it in terms of like 3 naked days and then like 3 days like dressed at home and then you can leave the house. But I feel like people only talk about the first three and they're like, and then you're
See,
done. And it's like, no, then you have to learn how to like still pay attention.
and you
Like,
have crutches, like crutches, so many crutches.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, that was what killed me was I need the in between because that's where we were. So to talk a little bit about our journey, my daughter started showing signs of wanting to go to the potty. Like she would ask to sit on it. We had got her the potty around Christmas, which is also around her birthday because they were on sale. Because apparently a
Yep,
lot of people do
exactly.
that.
I mean, over winter
And she
break, like if
started
you're a
showing
teacher or
a
something. Yeah.
lot of interest, like a lot of interest. And she would sit down. I mean, the day that we unpacked the box that had the potty in it, she just like pulled down her diaper and went to the bathroom on it. And we were like, "Oh my
Beautiful.
gosh, this is amazing!" How? But
An
I personally wasn't
all-star.
ready. I didn't know anything about it, and so we held off until the next like long weekend, like in January, whichever
Yeah.
holiday that is. And so, um, I was like, all right, I'm going to take an extra day on the holiday weekend. That gives us 5 days before she has to go back to daycare. She was in the American daycare at the time. I talked about it with her teachers ahead of time. I did all this stuff. By the end of the 5th day, so the day before she would go, we had left the house multiple times. She was doing all right, but she was still like getting to the point where most of the time she would start going in her pants and then stop, run to the potty, and put the rest of it in.
Which also is a little fascinating because like that muscle and ability to stop peeing in the middle of peeing is like not something that like most children fully comprehend. Like they start playing around with that idea, if that makes sense. Like once they're going. But like her
Right.
awareness to stop and then like run to it is like showing you like she's got the idea. She
Yeah,
knows
she
what
totally
she's
had the
doing.
idea.
It's
It's just she
just
doesn't want to stop. She doesn't want to
yeah.
stop. So then she got to daycare that week, and I brought, multiple pairs of shoes, multiple pairs of pants, multiple outfits,
I just
two
picture you with a giant
snowsuits.
suitcase.
I took one of those big TJ Maxx bags
Oh
because that's
yeah, that'll
invaluable.
do it.
Anyone moving to Europe, grab a couple giant TJ Maxx bags on your way across the pond because you're going to need it. That bag
I
gets
use
used all
that.
the time.
I was about
I
to
have a
say
huge
we use that
one.
all the time.
Um, and I literally just brought all this stuff. I stayed with her in the room for an hour and like didn't go to work or anything. Like stayed there for an hour with the teachers so that she went to the potties there, she used the flush there, like all these things. When I left, I was most concerned that she was going to like start going in her pants so many times that she was going to run out of pants. What I did not foresee was the teacher deciding unilaterally herself after
Sabotage.
after two accidents. So she had one out on the playground apparently, and then she had one during music time. I would argue that she didn't know where the potty was when she was out on the playground, and
Yeah,
she
that's
should have
a
gone to a teacher, but she didn't, and that's
I
okay.
mean,
She's learning.
outside play is hard enough in general, and also she's 2. Like, she was
Right.
newly 2. That's
Yeah.
a
Had
that's
just
a
turned 2.
communication in general. Like, even if she'd cut her knee, like, would she have known to go and ask an adult, or would she have just cried? Like, come on, that's
I don't
2.
know. I don't know. And then and she was in like a snowsuit, so who knows, you know? And then the other one happened at circle time, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if she started to get up and they were like, stop, or if she was just having too much fun at circle time because it's her favorite thing. And so it's like, but anyway, they decided, but without calling me, to
Mhm.
put a diaper on her and tell her that if she needed to go potty, she could just pull the diaper down.
Which is bonkers because, 1,
We had
you're
an
the
agreed upon
parent.
plan.
Yeah,
They call
1, you're
me
the
3 times
parent,
a
they don't
day if
get
she
to do
stubs her
that.
toe.
That's what I was about to say, and 2, like, they over communicate. Like, most at least with this particular daycare, like, they called you all the time, and so it's like, couldn't even send, like, a little texty text, like, "Hey."
Well, yeah, so it
Because,
was just
like,
really
it's
weird,
crazy.
and I was very frustrated to the point where we had multiple conversations about it, a whole frustration thing. But from that point, my daughter viewed it as a choice. I can choose to
Mhm.
use the potty, or I can choose. So at home, there would be a lot of days where she would wake up, we would take her nighttime diaper off of her, and she would spend the entire day in, like, a dress or a dress and pants or whatever, and she would use her little potty. And then sometimes she would just look at you and say, I need a diaper. And you would be like, oh, do you need to use the potty? She'd be like, I need a diaper. And so it was just like,
Like,
she knew,
I'm
she
cold.
knew what was going on. And so,
Yeah.
to be completely honest, we were like, we knew that she was going to start the German kindergarten in a couple months. We knew that, like, all right, we're just going to cripple through this, I think.
Yeah.
And so we are, like, when I spoke to her pediatrician here in Germany, he said, I don't know why you would do it in the winter. All German children potty train the last 2 weeks of July. It's the summer
See,
holidays.
that's what we did, like,
And I
and we were,
said,
like, in the warmth.
I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry, what? He said, all children her age will potty train the last 2 weeks of July. And I was like,
What a weird
why? And
unity.
he's like, for the summer holidays. And I was like, don't people travel during the summer holidays? They said, yes, with the potties. And I was like, okay,
Take the potty
sure
with you,
enough.
ma'am.
So we decided that worked out pretty well for us because we flew to Italy, we flew back, we had ferries, like all this traveling and stuff. And so we were like, we didn't want to confuse her by trying to do anything earlier, even though it was already warm enough, obviously. But then she has this time off for summer holidays. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be home with her. It's going to be great. We got back from Italy, and I told her all week, the first week we were back from Italy, and she was going to kindergarten. I said, yeah, on Friday, summer holidays start, and also diapers go away.
Yeah. And, like,
And
just
I
that
think
emotional
she just
prep
had
of, like,
no
fair
idea what
warning,
was
dude.
going on. I put it on the visual
Yeah.
calendar. We've talked about that before. The important. I have the blank
Is it
sheets that I can draw things, so I just
a
drew a
picture of
picture
a
of a
toilet?
potty. Yep.
Yeah. I was about to say, we have a
Um,
little toilet too. And I'm always like, do you need this picture right here, dude? Pay
yeah.
attention.
But so on Friday night, we put her to bed just like normal. And I said, yeah, it's so exciting because tomorrow is Saturday, which means daddy's off work, mama's home, you're home. And also, we have no more diapers. So
We're done.
we're going to use the potty all day. And we have. We're 9 days into this thing.
And she just was like, cool, awesome.
I mean, there's been a
I
couple times,
understand.
like, we went to the grocery store and she was like, we could buy diapers. And I said, nope, they don't have any diapers for you here.
Those are for other kids.
Well, they are. They're for the kids who don't know how to use the potty. Did you use the potty
Yep.
this morning? And she said, yeah. I said, you know how to use the potty. We're done.
Yep.
Like, and she's very
That's
logical about this
actually
kind of
how
thing, so that's
we
worked out really well. She did tell me, we talked about how next week she's going back to kindergarten, and she did tell me that they do have diapers at kindergarten.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
interesting.
said, I
Because
said,
school was such a
yeah, they have diapers at kindergarten for the people who don't know how to use the potty, but you get to use the little potties because
yeah.
the potties at kindergarten are like, I don't know, 6 inches off the ground. They're the tiniest little potties in the world,
Tiny bodies.
and there's little stalls and everything, and they go in there and they can use their potties themselves. But
That's pretty
I was
exciting.
like, we're gonna go in and we're gonna talk to Miss So and So about how you learned how to use the potty, so you won't do diaper change lineup anymore because the kids used to line up to have their diapers changed.
Oh, weird.
Um,
I mean, good, but I guess that's really good though as far as like learning some accountability. Like, hey, listen, it's diaper change time. Get over
yep,
here
get in line if you need a diaper change, literally.
right now. Like,
Um,
come on, dude. That's
so,
fascinating.
so yeah, so we're gonna send extra outfits. We're going to talk about it. We also have at night been using these. You could put the link in the show notes if you just want to, but I don't know if you can order them from the US. So I don't know what our European listenership
What
is,
are
but I think
they?
it's just me. But they're like a waterproof terry cloth
Oh,
training
see, I
underwear.
have those. I have those. They're basically a lot of people refer to them as like toddler cloth diapers, but they're
That's
soft on
what
the
they're.
inside and absorbent, and then on the outside, it's kind of a slickier fabric that holds all the water in.
See, they're
And
not.
oh, they're not?
They're not that way because they are cloth and absorbent on both sides.
Ooh, fascinating.
And they just have like the liner in the middle. So they feel like cotton underwear on both sides. But then if you like
Oh,
really like
okay.
go to, you're like, this is kind of a fluffy underwear. And at first I didn't think they were waterproof or anything, but they're not designed to be fully waterproof because if your child pees in the night and it's
Yeah,
like
that's a
a
lot of pee.
lot,
There's a I learned that by
it's
accidentally
going to
putting
come
a
out.
pull-up on backwards. So like we are just now kind of ending the like 6 months of like pull-ups at night, because my son can stay dry the whole time, but my husband and I both have minor issues with like we hate changing bedclothes in the morning first thing, and there's pee everywhere, and it's just a horrible way to start your day. So like we were kind of dragging our feet a little bit on making sure he
Horrible
was
waste.
ready. I mean, I'm just sorry. There's just nothing worse than like, oh, yay, we have to hurry and get, because inevitably you get to bedtime and you also don't have clean sheets on the bed. And now you've done the entire bedtime show and dance. Like, it's just, we're not good at this. We're not good at
I
that.
have
So,
multiple layers.
see, I like the layers thing. I do love a good layer. But yeah, so I learned that the wrong way was that not all pull-ups are created equal, because I accidentally put a pull-up on backwards one time and it held nothing. And I was like,
Good
wow,
work.
okay. Didn't know that's a thing. But yeah, we have
Orientation matters.
those. Yeah, apparently. But yeah, no, we had such a weird experience, I think, potty training my son, because one, we did start last year. It was just a couple months after he was, he's like 25, 26 months, whatever. And there's this whole research that like children are more amendable to learning potty training and potty learning whatever's, and getting rid of their diapers between like 20 months and 30 months. And that's believed to be just because they're already transitioning with so many other things. Like they're learning, like, okay, you don't have a bottle anymore. Like that's also when you can kind of like take passies a little bit easier. Like there's just this concept of like, you're a big kid now. So let's, change these things. They're a little bit more amendable. And I don't know that it's truly a like, quote unquote, like developmental biological thing as much as it is like that is a huge time for personality and self-identification and growth in those ways. And I think that helps children become a little bit more
I should
interested.
have checked because when we were talking about all the Montessori stuff on the last episode, um, there's those like learning windows, and I think that they list the learning window for 20 to 30 months, even in
Yeah.
Montessori, like in
Yeah, I
truly
think
like
so.
the learning, almost like the window for learning to read, the window for learning to speak a new language, the window
Yeah,
for like
absolutely.
coordination, like that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so 20 to 30 months is supposed to be that like sweet spot. And they say that like doing it beforehand is not necessarily bad, but it could be very confusing for your child as they learn to do things because they may not have the biological ability to connect pee with like, because you kind of have to have like the three different mechanisms. And so like the actual bladder control of the ability to like, okay, relax, we're not going to pee right now, dude, we're in the middle of something, we'll be there in a minute. Like, you know, that
Right.
concept, that babies don't have that. They have to pee, they go pee. And so like that bladder control is something that is supposed to be developed in that month range, so you see a lot more of
So
that.
you're not a fan of the influencers who do the elimination communication with their
So
3-day-old babies.
here's my thing.
I
I
can't. I can't with the tiny
actually
babies on the potty.
I actually love the idea that you're paying attention to cues, because I could tell when my son was using his diaper, man. Like, you can tell, especially if you're paying attention, especially for like poop. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know all the time, but like you could always tell. And we have diapers that have those little lines on them. And if they're not wearing pants, like you can see. So, like, I get what they're trying to get at. I don't understand all of the pictures of them like holding a baby over a toilet. That feels a little odd. Like, can't they just communicate about they're about to go in the diaper and then you change them so they don't get diaper rash? Like, that feels a little bit more.
I feel like it would have just been something else for my postpartum anxiety to just go like, look, we could do this. Let's
I do have a,
over-engineer this.
yes, I was about to say, I do feel like I just, there's so many other things that you're learning in that time. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself
Yeah.
as a parent. It is interesting because you are learning your children's cues. Like, we all know that there's like the 5 different cries or whatever
Oh yeah, I can
that
still
children
tell.
make.
She can be
Yeah.
across
And
the playground. I can still tell if she's just mad or if she's hurt herself.
yeah. And I, the other day, was with a friend who had like a new baby with them over the phone. And I was like, that baby is hungry. Can you please? I was like,
Can you please feed your
as
baby?
someone, as somebody who was breastfeeding and experienced those fun things in the stores, when you hear another baby and your body's like, I got it, don't worry. Like, I was like, can you please make that stop? Because my body is like, we can't help. Should we help? Should we help? Should we help? No, no, okay, not our baby. We're good. Like, it's confusing for me.
Oh man.
But I just always think that's so funny. Because it's actually very real and very odd. But no, so backtracking a little bit, like, I think that potty training from a parent perspective is something that we've really, one, kind of commercialized, because hello,
Oh, absolutely.
we got pull-ups. You also have like all of these, like, I don't know, like you have all this like extra gear sometimes. And you're like, you don't need all this stuff. But
You don't, but
sometimes
something
you do.
helps.
I was about to say, sometimes you do. Like I was saying, my son made it through the first like 3 days. He'd been interested. And I also am like one of those people that like, I let my kid follow me to the bathroom, like, to a certain age. And so, like, homeboy had been seeing me go pee for a really long time. Like, he understands the concept.
Right, right.
Like, you got an audience. So, like, there's that exposure. But then, like, you sit and you talk about, like, okay, we're gonna, start having him throw his diapers away in the bathroom trash because, hey, this is where those things go. We're
Mhm.
gonna start having the
We moved the diaper
conversation.
pail into the bathroom.
Exactly. So there's like kind of a like physical connection of like, hey, this is the room where these things happen. And actually you'll see kids. I have a friend who had a little girl and she would run and hide in the bathroom to go poop in her diaper. And she was like,
Well,
this is the safe
she
space.
makes the connection.
And I was
Like,
like,
this is
yeah,
where you
like,
go to your business.
exactly. She's like, this is the stinky room. This is what we do in here. But it was just really interesting because the things that were almost barriers to success and hard came from the parent side in my house. And I see that a lot with lots of other things. Like me with my no tiny toilets thing. Like, my husband just like finally went over my head and was like, dude, I've watched the course twice. They say that the tiny toilets are really good, especially if your kid's really hyperactive and doesn't want to like sit still, like
Yeah.
then it can be in the same room. He's like, I just think that like we're going to do it. It's like $20. It's just going to happen. And then, like, from then on, my child was fine. And I was just like, dang it, I hate that I was wrong. But it was one of those things where it's just like, I think I think the reason this is such a weird thing for me is now I have 2 tiny toilets in my house and I don't know how to get rid of them. You can't really
Right?
regift them. What am I supposed to do with this tiny toilet now?
That's not a sell at a resale thing.
Yes, what am I supposed to do with it? So so let's just pause right there. That's my problem with the tiny toilets. Where does it go now? Like,
Yeah,
there's
I
just
don't know.
2 tiny toilets in my house. But no,
That might be a Goodwill thing, I'm not gonna lie.
well, I actually I called a friend and I was like, "Hey, are you about to go through potty training? I will Lysol this and sit it out in the sun for several days, and then you can Lysol it and set it out in the sun for several days, and then you can
I have
use
no idea how
it."
to get rid of mine.
Yeah, I
I
have
haven't
no
even
idea.
thought about that.
It's very upsetting when you
I
think about it. I've been
assume
thinking
our
about it for like
dolls are gonna
4
use it
days.
for a while because we've got a stuffed monkey who's sitting on it right now, so
Oh, there you go. See, good. That's good sharing. That's great sharing. So I
yeah.
guess my other thing is like, have you guys experienced traveling and tiny toilets? Because we have these like little adapter things and we like keep them at grandparents' houses and friends' houses. Like if we're gonna go over there. So we don't have to carry one. But then I also got one of the little foldable ones that folds down to like the size of a pack of cards and it goes in my diaper bag.
So, we have been in a car and on a bike.
Ooh, bike is
Um,
interesting.
this weekend we've been at a public pool. We've been in a grocery store. We've actually been in a couple grocery stores. We've been at multiple friends' house, and she has used. And we went to our German tutor's house, so
Okay.
she's used toilets in other
That
people's
works.
homes.
But does she have the like gonna fall in anxiety? Because mine
She
super has the
does.
fall in
She does.
anxiety.
We have this travel toilet, which I sometimes have with me and sometimes don't because who wants to strap a toilet seat to their back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, at all
So
times.
it is in again, there's not a lot of free public toilets here in Germany. And also, if you're taking public transportation or your bike, you're not going to be carrying around the big plastic toilet.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
our
you could, but it'd look weird.
toilet, our travel our little potty situation is this thing that's like the transformer of toilets because it's got legs. It's ours is pink. I let her pick the color. I don't care.
Yeah.
So ours is pink. So it's like the ring, like the seat, and then it's got these legs that click down,
So does
and
it
it's
like fold
got.
out like a
Hold
does
on,
it
I'm
fold out
explaining
like
it
a
for you.
picnic table?
Kind of.
No. Okay.
I,
No.
that's confusing though. I don't feel like picnic table
Okay.
is the best way to put this.
Okay.
Um, so like anyway, you put the legs on it and then it can stand up by itself. And it has this part that clicks in that is like a basin. So it would be kind of
Okay.
like a self sustaining potty. You can also take the basin part out and just put a plastic bag there.
Ooh, love
And
that.
it came with a bunch of plastic bags. Um, if you take the legs and overextend them to where they are parallel with the potty, then it becomes like a potty seat adapter for bigger toilets.
Oh, okay. So it's got
So
like its
it's
own
got
legs
options.
or like arms.
Basically, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
picturing
So
an
it's like
octopus, which is not
like a
helpful.
hovercraft.
Like a
It's like
crab.
a
There we go.
hovercraft toilet. Um,
I like it. It
so
sounds a little bit smarter than our potties. Ours is
it's
a little frog.
it's the Transformer pink potty. The only
I love
problem
that.
is if you don't click all four legs in just great, your child might sit on it and fall over.
Oh,
So we don't
that's
want to do that.
upsetting.
But she has
Well,
used that now several times
oh, okay.
traveling. Like one time we were in a car in the grocery store parking lot and she
Nice.
sat on it.
We've done
She
that.
ended up not going. In fact, she sat on it for several moments and then got up and got in her car seat and peed in there. It's a whole thing. It's fine. I'm not mad
Valid.
about it
That's
anymore.
a valid choice.
I
It's just nope, no thank you to this.
I think it was confusing. But every other time that she's asked to use the pink potty, she's been able to use it. So we have taken that. We used that at a friend's house to like I just put it in my bag and it was just like an adapter. But then we have also like today at our German tutor's house, we did not have it with us. And so she just sat on like a bigger potty.
And you
Um,
had to do the like hold her up
European
thing because I'm
toilets
not good
are
at it.
not wide rim designed.
Oh,
Like most of them aren't. They're pretty. I the there's some interesting toilets here. I showed you the picture of the airport toilet that didn't have a seat, right? You just had to
yeah,
stand
I
there.
don't. You
It's a
just,
whole
yeah,
thing. It's like a
it's
squatty
upsetting.
situation. I don't even know. I don't even know. It's like they're not consistent. So I do think that we will probably be using this thing that
Adapter.
is designed to overcome that more so
Yeah.
than being able to adapt to anything smaller. Um, it's great for car rides. I I am a little nervous about this upcoming weekend because we're going to be on a few trains. Most
Yeah.
trains have very accessible bathrooms, but you're on a moving train.
Oh, yeah, I think that would
I
be
don't know
that's
if
kinda
that's
like
going
the
to be kind of
airplane bathroom.
scary.
Like,
While we're on the train, she's probably going to be wearing her like her sleep underwear is what we're calling it, the like the padded
yeah.
thing. We'll see how that goes. I don't really know. I don't know what to expect. And I'm just gonna go into it with like, this is what we do have to do now. It's kind of what we
Yeah.
have to do.
I mean, I think
So
that, like, that's a huge testament to, like, how you've parented up to this point is, like, if your child trusts you enough to be like, "Okay, it's a little weird, but you said it's alright." Like, because,
yeah.
like, that's been my experience going into, like, public restrooms, and, like, my hang up is that, we had a 3-year-old during COVID, and so that was you know, the dangling trauma that stuck with us was a 3-year-old who was learning toilet things in the middle of COVID when you have to travel and, like, we would have to drive a couple hours and we'd be like, "Can we just pee on the side of the road? Because, like, let's not go in any places."
I don't
And
want to touch
so
anything.
yeah, and so I still catch myself being really, like, like, I'm gonna have to break this when it's wintertime, but, like, I just have them pee on the tires. Like, I just park at the back of the parking lot and dad and I make a little human wall and just pee on the tires, man. Like, it's happy. You're
Well,
fine.
that works.
I even will hold
I
up
don't
a
think that
little
would work
towel
here.
if I need to cover any butts. Like, we're fine. But and mostly that's just the youngest is like, "Let's pee on tires, man." And I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna have to break this eventually, but for right now it really works for me." But
Yeah.
I think it really is kind of like a testament to, like, your own resiliency as a parent and your own, like, thoughts and kind of hangups and emotional preparedness because, like, it's true. Like, it's how do I make it not sound dramatic when I say this? When you go from having an infant who is completely mobile because they have a diaper. You can just pick them up and take them with you. As long as you have an extra diaper, you're fine. To someone who needs, like, access to key resources,
Right?
it can feel really limiting as a
It
parent.
changes. Yeah, even just like yesterday, last night, um it was early afternoon. It was like 3:30. The weather was really, really great after it being super rainy for the last couple days. And it was starting to just cool off a little bit. And we were like, you know what would be so great is take our bikes down to to the harbor. It's just a couple miles, and to get some ice cream. I specifically wanted spaghetti ice, which is just
Weird.
like this really great German concoction. It's amazing.
It's
And
not
so I was like,
spaghetti
we should
flavored
go
though,
get it.
right?
No, but it looks like spaghetti.
Oh, that's gross.
It's
Okay.
amazing.
I'm excited for you, but that's disgusting.
we we'll put a picture of that in the show notes too. Um,
Spaghetti
but
ice cream.
but so I'm like, well, we could just ride our bikes. And so, we like have our daughter sit on the potty before we leave. We all do because nobody wants to ride the bike having to go to the bathroom.
Right?
Um,
That is something that happens in our house where, like, everyone go pee because
and so
inevitably
then
one of the parents will break the problem.
Yeah, so then we go down to the harbor. We get the ice cream. We're walking, we're eating ice cream. We meet up with some friends. They want to go to the park. So we walk down to the park. The park's much further of a walk than I thought it was going to be. And so then I'm like, we have to walk all the way back and then ride our bikes several miles back before there's a potty. And I'm like, I don't know if there's a bathroom down here I can use. I don't know if she's going to make it. And I'm like, at least if we're on the
Yeah.
bike, at least like she's just going to, you know, pee on herself.
It'll float in the wind.
It's like,
No one's
it's just
behind
one of
her.
those things where I was just like, "Oh, man, I didn't prepare for this." Like, I I feel bad because I didn't think about it, but
Yeah.
she made it all the way back, and then she went right in and went to the bathroom here, and, it turned out all fine, but I was just like, "Wow, I did not think about
Mhm.
what I would need for that," because in that situation, like, you change the
Yeah,
diaper
it
before you leave, and then you're gone for, like, an hour, hour and a half, they're fine. They're totally
well,
fine if you didn't bring the diaper bag, and so, it's just like it almost, like, shoves you back into a frame of having to be not hypervigilant, but, like, more
yeah,
aware than you were, because, like,
yeah.
I have left the house now twice without a change of pants
Oh, yeah, no, that'll yeah,
and,
mhm.
like, a whole outfit change, and I had, like, wipes, I had the potty, but, like, I didn't have anything if she had an accident in her pants, and I'm like, "Whoo,
Mhm.
that could've been bad." And so now
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
have a
"I need a
little
car outfit
yeah, I was gonna say, we have little Ziplocs that have a change of pants and a change of underwear and a change of socks, because
because
at the very
I
least,
the
those will be
socks
able to be changed. The socks is a big deal. The
I didn't
socks
think
is a
about
big
socks
deal.
until just now.
Yep, because that's a big one, because you can always put back on yucky shoes if you have to, or you can just wear socks if you parent carries you, but, like, you don't wanna put on pea shoes without socks. It's the recipe for disaster.
It's really hot here, so she's just been wearing sandals, so she might be okay, but yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm
We do a
glad that
lot of
we have some more warm weather to practice before we get to, like, full snowsuit area.
Yeah, I am too, because the other problem is, like, when you bring in the conversation around, like, personality and, like, every kid is different, like, even between the 2 brothers, we've had massive differences, and one of them is, like, my stepson is a get up, get dressed, all the way to your shoes, first thing in the morning kid. Like, that is what he likes to do. He is dressed and ready to go so that he will absolutely be able to go outside and play the moment that you are ready for him to. My other
Ready.
child my other child will go and hide if you pull out a shirt for him to put on. Like, he is, a nudist.
Pajama
It's against
loving
his
kid. Oh,
religion.
nudist.
It's against his religion to put clothing on. He wants to sleep naked. He wants to, in fact, that was how we got him to agree to the process of potty training at first, was like, dude, you get to be naked for 3 days. Like, all since he was born. Like, this child didn't like onesies. He would scream until you took it off, and then he'd be completely fine. Like, he's just, personality wise, like, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble when he's in public school. It's gonna be really bad. So
Yep.
I'm already prepared. But, like, it's already something that I'm kind of dreading, because as it gets colder, and I think it's interesting that, like, in Germany, like, it's commonly known, like, hey, everybody's going to potty train during the summer. And it may not be because of the weather, it may be because of the summer vacation. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because
Well,
they
according to
can,
the pediatrician go ahead.
well, I just, it's just going to be one of those weird things. Like, it's just going to be one of those really weird things where it's like, okay, buddy, but, like, you have to wear clothing because it's cold outside. And, like, I don't really know how we're going to get back to that point, but at least we don't necessarily have to worry about, like, potty accidents. We just have to worry about getting clothing on at this point. We're
Fair.
almost there.
Apparently, part of why kids in Germany are potty trained in the summer most commonly is because we don't have air conditioning, so it's very hot in our houses in the evening, and they're less likely to have nighttime accidents because it's so warm in their rooms. Like, it is 78 in this room that I'm sitting in right now, which
Oh,
means it is
okay, yeah.
reasonably, it's reasonably 78 degrees in my daughter's room where she is sleeping right now. Um, and so the like children have pee accidents at night most common, like, unless there's like a pelvic floor issue or a nightmare issue or bladder control issue, or like the any of the other common reasons. But, like, if your child has the ability to hold it that long and they're not, it could be because they're getting cold. Like, that's like the common easiest fix.
Going to pee warms them up, or just shivering makes it
No,
harder to
it's just
control?
the nerve. It's not even to cold to the point of shivering. You have to be really quite cold before you shiver. But it's just
I know
the
that. Shivering.
it's like a real thing because you
I
can't
believe you.
sleep as deeply cold. A lot of people think they sleep better cold, but you don't. You don't sleep better cold. But so they're sleeping deeply, and the transition between the cycles of your sleep are more like shocking. It's not the word, but it's more like a dramatic shift between like REM
Oh,
cycle and stuff.
okay.
And so you are more likely to rouse. And when you rouse, you pee yourself.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense.
It's
And
also why like babies, parents of like babies that are like under a year, if they're waking up at like 5 or 6 in the morning or between 4 and 6 in the morning, it's because they're cold,
interesting. That's fascinating.
because they're not sleeping as deeply because they're too cold.
Hey guys, this is Nicole. While I was editing the rest of this episode, something happened with the audio file and I am not yet able to recover it. I wanted to go ahead and get out the rest of the episode, what you've just heard, because I think that, um, Shelby and I both really wanted to kind of continue making sure uploads get out and to have this conversation, which we really enjoyed having. If I can ever recover the rest of the audio, I will. But if not, I just wanted to let you know that you missed out on a story about my son accidentally peeing on me. And you missed Shelby making some really good points that it would be a lot easier if we were all gentler on ourselves about the expectations around potty training and maybe had a little bit more honesty and openness about the challenges. At the end of the day, we know that we're doing our best and we know that you're doing your best and you're a good mom. Have a good rest of your week.